All right, well, welcome everybody. If you can hear me okay, could you raise your hand in the GoToWebinar hand raising control panel if you can find that? First test, very good. Let's just see if we can get anyone else. All right, well, let's go ahead and get started. My name is Michael Devlin, and this is Real Estate 101, how to launch a successful real estate career. And what we're going to be talking about are really three things. Number one is why real estate and why now? And that topic basically is premised on the idea that if you're willing to take time off on a Monday evening to participate in, well, something like this, it's probably because you're looking for something new, something different, hopefully better in your business or professional life. I'm assuming that's why you're here. And if you're looking to make some sort of a change in your business life, one question would be, why would you want to be in real estate? What would you have to do to be successful? How much money can you really make? How long is it going to take to make money? What do I have to do? And why now? Is now a particularly good time or a bad time? Should I wait? Those are the different things we're going to talk about there. In addition to that, we're going to talk about how to choose an office to affiliate with. Because if you've decided you want to get into real estate, the next question is with whom. There's different kinds of real estate companies. They operate and are structured differently, and we're going to cover some of those differences. We're going to do that tonight. And then finally, on how to get started, we're going to discuss what do you need to do to get a real estate license? How long does that process take? How much does all of this cost? I hope that's pretty close to what you wanted to hear because, well, you know, that's what I'm going to be talking about. So let's start with why real estate, and also a subtext of that might be why now. I'd like to begin with some definitions. There's words that, you know, we hear in the industry. There's the words broker and salesperson. Now, those two terms refer to two different kinds of real estate licenses. You could have either a real estate broker's license or you could have a real estate salesperson's license. To a large degree, they're pretty much the same. In other words, if you have a real estate salesperson's license, you can do everything the broker can do with two exceptions, right? There's two things that you could do with the broker's license that you couldn't do with the salesperson's license. Number one is be independent. Salespeople have to work for brokers. Brokers don't have to work for brokers. Brokers can be independent. The other thing you could do with the broker's license is, well, you could brag about it. You could tell everybody that you got the advanced license, the graduate license, the big license, not the small license, right? Most people don't know what you're talking about, or do they particularly care? We're going to start by talking how to become a real estate salesperson. To become a broker requires 2 years full-time experience in real estate or 4 years part-time experience in real estate, more classes, and a longer, harder test. Then there's the word agent. The word agent really refers to a relationship where you have one person who's called the principal who hires another person who's the agent, and the agent represents the principal in dealings with third parties. If there are no third parties, there is no agency. Now, the way this comes up in a discussion about real estate careers is somebody might say to me, well, you know, I've been thinking about getting my real estate license, but let me ask you this. If I have a real estate license and I want to buy a house for myself or sell property that I own, can I be my own agent? Right? I've been asked that question many times over the years, and technically, legally, the answer is no, you cannot be your own agent. Because by definition, agents represent other people. If you're representing yourself, you're not an agent, you're a principal in the transaction. Now, that, by the way, was an accurate and technical answer to the question, but I also understand that I really didn't answer the question they were asking, right? Really, the question they were asking was, if I get my real estate license and I want to buy or sell real estate for myself, can I save money on the commission? And the answer is yes. But that's not because you're acting as an agent in the transaction. You're not. It's because you're a licensee. And because of your professional status as having a broker or salesperson's license, it's possible for you to save money on the commission when you buy or sell your own real estate. And finally, there's the word realtor. And the word realtor is a copyrighted designation of the National Association of Realtors, which is a trade association, which is sort of like a union, right? It's a lot like a union. And it's like the Teamsters Union, right? You know, if you're not familiar, that's a union you might join if you were a truck driver. Now, do you have to join the Teamsters Union if you want to be a truck driver? The answer is no, you don't have to join. Might you? What do you need if you don't have to join the Teamsters Union to drive trucks? What do you need? Well, the answer is you need the license, right? If you have the license, you can drive the trucks. If you don't, you can't. You might choose to join the union. There are benefits to being a member of the union. And the same is sort of true in real estate. You don't have to join the Association of Realtors, our union. You don't have to. All you really need legally is the license in order to sell real estate. However, if you're going to be selling residential property 1 to 4 unit, you're probably going to have to join the union because that's where we have access to the multiple listing service, to forms and other things that agents might use. But there are a lot of areas that don't require union membership. And let's look at a list. So what can you do if you have a real estate license? You probably already know that you could help people buy or sell residential property and be paid a commission. In addition, you can sell commercial property. I often get people say to me, I don't want to sell homes. I don't want to go to people's houses. I don't want to work evenings and weekends. I want to just business to business. That's for me. I want to do commercial real estate. How do I get that license? And the answer is, well, there is no such thing as a commercial real estate license. There's just a real estate license. Right. And if you have a real estate license, you can do residential real estate, you can do commercial real estate, and you can do loans. You can be a loan agent and you can do loans. Now, you have to have a real estate license and then you have to get it endorsed, which is called a mortgage loan originator endorsement. You have to go take another test. You have to pay another fee. And then you can also do loans. Property management is where somebody is an investor. They buy residential properties. As an example, they don't want to run the ad in Craigslist, get all the phone calls, screen the tenants, negotiate the leases, all that kind of stuff. You could do that for a fee if you had a real estate license. And a business opportunity is where we're selling a business and not necessarily the real estate. Somebody who doesn't own the building and doesn't own the land, but they're renting, they have like a hardware store and they want to sell the business. That's something else you can do with a real estate license. So of that group, residential, particularly 1 to 4, is the only one really where people join the Association of Realtors. The rest of them are somewhat independent. So the ways of getting a real estate license, you could work for a broker, you could not work for a broker, but you need to work for a broker, is pretty much what this slide says. And the reason it exists, the slide, is because over the years, people have often asked me, you know, the question, they'll say, look, I think I want to get my real estate license. I don't really know what I'm going to do. I don't, know who I want to work for. Do I have to figure everything out before I can go get my real estate license? And the answer is no. Anybody who qualifies can go take the exam and have a license issued. And you don't have to have a broker. You don't have to line up an office to work with. Your license would be issued in a non-working status. Right? Now, a non-working real estate license, well, it's a lot like a non-working car, right? Your friends can come over and you can show them the car. They can even sit in the car. But if they want to go for a drive, well, no, it's not, it's not a working car. Right. So in order for your license to be something that you could use to earn a commission or to perform licensed activities, you need to have a broker, but you don't have to decide all that up front. Why are people interested in real estate? Freedom and independence is probably one of the major factors that I see over the years. It's one of the number one survey says, number one reason is freedom and independence. You don't punch a time clock, right? You understand we're not going to call you at 10 o'clock every morning and say, hey, where are you, right? You know, it's not that kind of a deal. In a sense, your time is very flexible, and in some senses not so flexible, in that you're not working a set amount of hours, right? Now, this, however, can be one of the disadvantages about being in real estate, because freedom is not a gift that's always wisely used. So some people have you ever met anybody where they work just enough, right, so that they don't get fired? And then the company pays them just enough so they don't quit. I don't know if you've ever seen that, you know, that's sort of a sick relationship. Well, the thing about real estate is that it is a commission only, non-salaried profession, right? It can be a high paying, hard job, but it can be a very low paying, easy one. And the freedom and independence, you're basically in business for yourself, right? Comes with a responsibility to have some self-discipline and motivation to work. Because the relationship that we have with the sales associates is more like a business consultant or a business advisor to a business owner than it is an employer-employee relationship. Financial rewards. How much money could you make in real estate? Well, it depends on how many homes you sell, how long you've been in the business, where are you selling homes. I'm in Silicon Valley right now, where the median price is over $1 million. Other parts of the Bay Area, it's 800,000. In the state of California, it's closer to 6 something, right? But just to look at an example, let's say a $800,000 property was sold. Now, the amount of commission on the sale of any given property is not chiseled in stone. It's not set by law. It can be negotiated, but it wouldn't be unusual for it to be a 5 or 6% commission, total gross commission. Let's say it's 5. Now, that 5% commission would typically be split between two brokers. Each office would get 2.5%. Now, what that would mean is that if you were to sell an $800,000 property and one side of the transaction was 2.5%, that would be $20,000. So if you sold one house a month, that would be $220,000 in gross commission you would have made for selling one $800,000 property each month. Right? Now, the first question, I guess, is, could you live on that? You know, I don't know. You might have to cut back a little. But as your volume were to increase, you can see we have agents that are earning hundreds of thousands to over $1 million a year in commission income. Sometimes they're selling 40. One of the agents in our organization is doing way more than that. Let's just say closer to 150 to 200 properties every single year, making millions of dollars in gross commission income. Now, you might be thinking, you know, gee, if I made that kind of money, I'd have no idea how I could possibly spend it. That may be a thought, maybe not. But one of the things you might do with the money is invest in real estate. One of the things that attracts people to real estate as a profession is a desire to invest in real estate. There's an old saying, buy land, they're not making any more of it. Right? And if you wanted to be a real estate investor, being in real estate would be a really important place to be. And, you know, we would help you with investment opportunities. And finally, there's security. Now, that may seem like an odd thing for an independent contractor, freedom and independent kind of a profession, but I had a friend who went to San Jose State, and he studied mechanical engineering. Went to work for Hitachi in the hard drive division, worked there for 28.5 years, and they laid him off. Right? They said it was not personal, nothing personal, and it probably wasn't, because they laid off everybody in his department, everybody in that division. They closed the whole plant. Now, I'm not saying he was a perfect engineer, but even if he had been perfect, he still would have lost his job. It wasn't that they decided that you're not doing a good job. They decided we don't need anybody doing that job anymore around here. So in real estate, you can be bad at it, You can fail at it, but you really can't get fired, right? You understand you're an independent contractor. If you don't get along with us, you can take your license and go work for somebody else. If you can't get along with anyone, you have to tough it out for 2 years, and then you could go get your broker's license, and then you could be alone, right? I don't know, right? So you can fail, but you can't get fired. And there's some security, I think, in knowing that you have control over that and not somebody else. So what are the different ways of approaching the business? There have always been, but I've noticed maybe a greater percentage of people that are what I call the investor agent, right? They've got another job, they've got another commitment, they're doing other things, but they want to invest in real estate and they're a licensed real estate agent and working for a broker. Then there are part-time agents, and part-time agents generally have another job. They're not doing this because they're an investor. They probably don't have that kind of money yet. They might have a family, they might have another job or profession. But the goal is there's either to get out of what they're doing part-time. That's called a transitional part-time, transitioning from part-time to full-time, or some of the people are permanent part-time in that whatever it is that they're doing when they're not doing real estate is how they meet the people that they sell real estate with. And so quitting the job or changing it really wouldn't help them because, well, that's where they're meeting everybody. Then there are full-time agents, and full-time agents I would define as people who don't necessarily have another commitment, right? I mean, we all have commitments, but you understand that they can really devote, enough time every day and during the week in order to do real estate pretty much on a full-time basis. And then the big-time agents, and big-time agents develop teams. And they develop organizations and they open up branches of their team first in the city, in the area, in the region, and eventually they could open up branches of their team all over the country and literally even in other parts of the world. So challenges for the full-time agents, right? For people that are doing this full-time. And the first thing is you need to understand that this is sales. Right? Being in real estate is being in professional selling. And all professional selling professions, essentially what you do in sales is you get paid for talking to people. Right? You understand, if you boil it down to what exactly is it that salespeople are doing, they're getting paid for having conversations with people. And in real estate, you're paid for having conversations with people about buying, selling, or investing in real estate. And the more people you talk to, the more you get paid. If you only talk to some people about real estate, then you're only going to get paid some. But if you talk to a lot of people about real estate, then you could get paid a lot. And one of the advantages of real estate, it's something that everybody pretty much wants, right? If you were to ask yourself, what percentage of the American public now or in the future are planning to buy or sell real estate? Well, that's pretty much everybody. And that means that everybody you meet and everyone you know is a potential client. But they're not always ready right now, right? So if I were to ask you, hey, how do you feel about selling your home, right? You might say to me, no, thank you, I'm not interested. Now, some people take that as rejection. Right? Oh my gosh, I asked him if he wanted to sell his home and he said, no, right? I feel rejected, right? Now, to me, that's not rejection, right? They just don't want to sell their home, right? Now, if they said to me, well, actually, Mike, we do want to sell our home, but under no circumstances would we ever use you as our agent. Now, you see, that's rejection, right? You don't get very much of that. I guess the point I'm trying to make is twofold. Number one, some people are going to say no. And the real estate agents who have made the most money in real estate have usually been told no the most often. More people have said no to them than the other agents. But also more people have said yes. And that's because they talked to more people to begin with. Well, who do you talk to? You start by talking to the people you know, because you know them. We know that about 40% of all real estate business, when they track the buyer or the seller back to how did you meet this agent, over 40% of the time it was a referral by a family, friend, or coworker. Right? 40%. So you start by talking to the people you already know. But then you talk to people you don't know. That's because you probably don't know enough people that you can make a career just out of talking to them. You also need to know that it's like investing in a business, and that if you were to invest in a business, it would first of all require some investment. Like in real estate, it'll take a few $1,000s for everything just to get into the business. And it could take a little while before you get a return on your investment. It could be 6 months, it could be longer, it could be shorter, right? It all depends upon you and what you do and a lot of different things. I've had an agent start in our office in June. She did open houses, met somebody at the open house. They wanted to buy a house. I helped her sell the house to the buyer. She got her first check in July. Now, I'm not saying that happens all the time. I'm just saying in 30 days or so, you could get your first check. However, it might take longer than that, and you need to understand that and to have some reserves. If you're doing residential real estate, you need to be willing to work evenings and weekends. You got to make hay when the sun shines, right? And that's when they're available, they being your potential clients. That's when they're usually available on evenings and weekends. How do you feel about working weekends and evenings? How do you feel, right? In residential real estate, that's something that you're going to have to do. And it's also, by the way, the reason that you could do this part-time, because you could work during the day like your friends and co-workers are, and then have discussions about real estate on the evenings and weekends. You have to be a self-starter, right? I've been training real estate agents for a long time. I haven't figured out how to train motivation. I don't know. You understand? You have to have your reason for wanting to do this. You have to have a willingness to get up and to go to work. I guess what I'm saying is that even though we don't punch a time clock, that doesn't mean we sleep till noon either, right? It can be a high-paying hard job in real estate, or it can be a low-paying easy one. There's no salary. Real estate is a commission-only profession, right? But as I used as an example of a sale of an $800,000 property, that would generate $20,000 in commission. And you're going to need a little bit of money to get started. It's going to take $2,000 to $3,000 from beginning to licensing and to join the board of realtors and to do all of that. And it varies a bit based upon when you join. So what do you need to succeed? Well, you need to have a goal. It would help to have a goal, right? It would help to have a plan and a schedule for implementing the plan. I'll give you an example. Let's say we're talking about an $800,000 property for sale at a 2.5% commission side, right, which wouldn't be unusual. That would be $20,000 in gross commission income. And if you had 6 people that wanted to sell their home and 6 people that want to buy a home, and they were all $800,000 homes, all 2.5%, that would be 12 transactions, producing $20,000 in gross income, or $220,000 in 1 year. So in order to close a real estate transaction, you're going to have conversations with people. We call them appointments, right? Whether it's a virtual appointment or on the phone or in person, you have to have an appointment with somebody to discuss buying, selling, or investing in real estate before you're going to close the transaction. Well, does every appointment translate into a closed transaction? The answer is no, it doesn't. They don't all translate. Let's say at the beginning, because you're not necessarily good at this yet, but let's say you're going to need 4 appointments in order to produce 1 transaction. Right now, if that were the case and you wanted to close 1 transaction a month and you needed 4 appointments, you would need 48 appointments in a year. And to convert 25% of them, That would give you a transaction a month or $220,000 in a year. Now, that would mean if you needed 48 appointments, that you would on average need 1 appointment a week for 48 weeks. You could take a month off. You're in real estate, take a month off. 1 appointment a week for 48 weeks. And if you did that, then you would be having enough appointments to produce the 12 transactions. All right, so 1 appointment a week, that doesn't sound so hard, does it? Right, one lousy appointment a week, that doesn't sound so bad. You might have to book more than 1 to have one, but you understand 1 a week. So now the question is what do I have to do to get an appointment a week? Well, you're going to have conversations with people about buying, selling, or investing in real estate. And let's just use as a rule of thumb, you're going to need 50 conversations with people about buying, selling, or investing in real estate in order to get an appointment. And then you're going to need 4 appointments in order to close a transaction. Now, what that works out to on a daily basis is you would need to talk to 10 people a day about real estate 5 days a week on average. And then that would give you 50 conversations a week, which would produce the appointment a week, which would produce the transaction a month, which would let you, go look at Teslas or something like that. Now, who do I have conversations with and what do I say? We'll teach you how to do that, because you also are going to need training. You're going to need the tools and systems that go along with the training, and you're going to need coaching in order to generate this plan, create the plan, and schedule everything so it's all being done at the right time. What do real estate agents do all day? It's a good question. So this is just a sample. Remember, at least we're going to talk to 10 people a day. Did you understand, by the way, if you're thinking, well, 10 conversations a day, that doesn't sound like a lot, particularly if I'm a full-time agent. What would happen if you had 20 conversations a day, right? Producing 2 appointments a week. You understand? What if you had an appointment a day? You get the idea. So what would it typically look like? Well, this is just an example. Between 8 and 8:30, preparation for having these calls, for who you're going to talk to and what are you going to say. Between 8:30 and 11, actually doing some of that. Center of influence is the people you already know. Geographic farming is working with people in a specific targeted geographic area. Expired listings, for sale by owners, just listed, just sold. There's a long list of things that you could be doing. Then 11 to noon might be business servicing, right? You get emails, you get text messages, you get phone calls. You have to follow up with buyers and sellers, and then you have pending transactions. You go to lunch. 1 to 2 lead conversion, following up. We know that 70% of real estate transactions come not from the initial contact with somebody, but following up. My mentor used to say the fortune is in the follow-up. Business servicing, again, responding to emails. There's a lot of emails, lots of text messages. Listing appointments, showing appointments, personal time. That's that's an example of what it might look like on a daily schedule. You need to understand when you're picking an office that sometimes there's a relationship between commissions and services. Depending upon the kind of office you're joining, we're going to talk about a specific model that minimizes this. Many offices charge very high fees, hundreds of dollars a month in order to work there. Some offices pay high splits, but they don't actually do much to help people. And then there's also an apprentices program, I think I said that right, that we have, and some of you might have actually shown an interest in that. And the apprentice program is for people that are in the process of getting licensed. And we want you to, once your license is issued, to be as far along and to hit the ground running. Remember, there's could be a few months of time before you could actually get going, and we would like you to have as much training and support as you would need. So what you would get while you're in that program is access to weekly coaching and training sessions. I'm not talking about the ones to get a real estate license. We'll talk about that later. We're talking about the ones on how to make money, how to build your business, how to create a plan, how to do all that. We'll talk about EXP World a little bit later, but you'll get a guest pass so you could see the operation of the real estate company and participate in some of that training as well. And then we're also going to be giving you guidance on what you can do now while you're getting your license in order to set yourself up for a quick launch once your license is issued. How you can start building a sphere of influence, how you could even start on social media, posting things about real estate, sharing things about real estate, letting people know that you're in the process of getting into real estate. All of that is included in our apprenticeship program. So what's going on in the real estate market? Well, things have been going well in many respects this year. For example, in California, this was issued on October 19th. That's what it says, so it's not very old, I guess. California, this is from the California Association of Realtors, or the union, as we like to call them. They notice it says the California housing market has outperformed expectations, breaking record high median price for the 4th straight month. So the median price in September, now this is for the state of California, was $489,590. Right now, if you're in the Bay Area, you realize our prices are a lot higher than that. But that was up 5.2% from August and 21.2% from September of 2019. The median price for statewide, well, that was the 489, excuse me, was the number of sales, was 712. I knew it was 7 something. I was like, wow, what happened? It was 712,000. So the first number was about the number of sales. The median price was 712. That was up 17.6%. I'm going to say it right this time. Sales were up 21.2% year over year for September. And the median price in California was up 17.6% year over year. Total home sales year to date are down slightly because we had some bad months because, you know, there's a virus. What about next year? Where are we going with this? This is from August 13th, again from the California Association of Realtors. And they did their projections for what 2021 was going to look like. And you can see that they have a modest increase in single family home sales of 3.3%, right? So the projection for 2021 for California is that sales are still going to go up. And but that's less than obviously it did last year. The states, what else I want to say here? Baseline. So other things about the forecast that the California Association of Realtors did, part of their projection was that the state unemployment rate is going to dip to 9% in 2021 from the 2020's projected rate of ending at about 10.8. So there's evidence that by 2021, the economy will be better, I guess, in the terms of the gross net domestic product and employment. The average, and this has a lot to do with the strength of our market, fixed mortgage interest rates for a 30-year fixed rate mortgage will dip to 3.1% in 2021, which means not down very much from where it is now, right? Still pretty low. How is real estate doing kind of overall? This is the 2020 October 12th to the 15th weekly housing market monitor from the National Association of Realtors. I've just included a couple of things because some of these national numbers are indications of what's going on. You know, here were differences in degree, not kind. And this is also from last week. And one of the things that you can see is new contracts rose 18%. Right? Amid low mortgage rates and continuing job growth, contract signings for existing homes increased 21% year over year during the past 4 weeks, ending October 11th. right? 18% in the prior period. New listings rose at a pace to 4% year over year. And contract signings continue to outpace listings, right? You can see from the gold, there are more contracts being signed, more pending transactions than there are actually listings. It's not taking very long for homes to sell. They're selling quickly. There's a median of 22 days for homes. This is nationally in the past 4 weeks, right? Ending last week. With the housing market well into the fall season, the median days on market slightly rose to 22 days during the past 4 weeks. It was 21 days in the 4-week period before that, and a lot quicker the sales are than the 33 days that was a year ago. In the Bay Area, it's even less than that. Also, there's an expectation this is from the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, and this is, I don't know, kind of a weird little chart, but what it says is that they're expecting a 3% home price appreciation year over year between now and next year, a 3% price appreciation. So prices in 2021 are not expected to drop significantly. They're just not expected to increase as much as they have in the last year or two. Choosing an office to affiliate with. So we're going to talk, I'm affiliated with a company called eXp Realty, which is a company that's in an explosive growth mode at this point. You can see right now, I think it's like 35,000 agents, hundreds of people are joining every day across the 50 US states and 7 Canadian provinces. So you can see we're on pretty much an upward surge, and innovation is always happening, right? You're going to see some of the people, the pundits that write about real estate companies and what's going on, have oftentimes referred to eXp as the Amazon or the Netflix of real estate. A long time ago, there used to be a company called Blockbuster. And Blockbuster, by the way, had an opportunity for a relatively small amount of money to buy a fledgling startup called Netflix. And Blockbuster decided not to because they knew how to deliver movies and things like that. They already had the proven model. They didn't need Netflix. Well, there are no Blockbusters, right? But we all have Netflix. Remember Circuit City, right? Where people used to shop for stuff, right? Now we have Amazon. And in the same sense that Netflix has knocked out Blockbuster and Amazon made a lot of Circuit Cities go away, eXp is doing the same thing to traditional real estate brokers, in that we, like Netflix and Amazon, are a cloud-based company as well. So with a cloud-based environment, there's no desk fees, right? Because, well, there's no desks, that there you can work from anywhere. And by doing this, we've eliminated the brick and mortar costs. There are a lot of real estate companies that have long-term, very expensive leases on Class A office space that is very expensive that, well, right now, not very many people want to even use it. And because of those expenses, they can't compete with cloud brokerages in terms of the services that are provided, given the amount of money that the agents contribute. So we don't have any expensive leases. We can invest in support and technology. We have paperless transaction, instant access to training and support. So there's more than 50 hours of live training every week, from everything from basic to advanced, to how to use social media, to CRM, means customer relationship management software and tools. They're recorded sessions. If you don't like these, you can watch them at any time that you wanted, but these are live classes over 50 hours every week. And there's real-time support in the cloud. If you have I had an issue involving a tech issue, I go into the cloud, I talk to the tech guy, he answers my question. There's support that's easy to access. You can get instant answers most of the time, quick on demand. There are specialists, the whole accounting, the technology, all those things are all available in the cloud. And we're an international company. So in addition to the United States and Canada, and by the way, it's possible in EXP for you to have a team that goes beyond your area, that is in another city, in another state, even in another country. And we're expanding, right, to United Kingdom, Australia, South Africa, I believe, is also part of the expansion now. Equity opportunities. So in a traditional real estate brokerage, you don't ever end up getting an ownership interest in the company, right? In our area, there's a company called Intero, which is owned by Berkshire Hathaway, which is owned by Warren Buffett. And you understand Warren Buffett isn't sharing with you. If Warren Buffett doesn't need your money, right? He's got plenty of his own. And so in most real estate companies, there's no opportunity for you as an associate to actually participate in ownership. At EXP, we have stock, and it's a publicly traded company. And I've set it up so every time I close a transaction, a percentage of that commission income goes to buying stocks at a discount. And when you reach a certain level of production, you get like a windfall of stocks. And that allows you to have shares in the company. And you can see we're on NASDAQ, EXPI is the stock code. You also get to have a voice in the company. Why not, right? You can be an owner, right? You can be an investor. You can join the investors in EXP. We also have an agent advisory council, which gets to, it helps make decisions with the agent participation in the decision-making process. Most real estate company agents do not get to participate in the decision-making process. So in addition to participating in decision-making and being able to buy stock, we also have a revenue sharing program. Half of all the money that goes to EXP in terms of commissions is given back to associates through revenue sharing. And you can earn this based upon the amount of revenue you and agents that you work with and bring into the company. The world is a cloud campus environment where agents can meet and learn together. You create an avatar, you go into the community, you can visit specialized apartments, or you can get information, you can meet with team members, you don't have to worry about lighting, you don't have to worry about whether or not you're wearing something that'll clash with Zoom. There's large-scale trainings, all of that is available on the cloud. Because we're a large real estate company, we have all of the marketing and branding, the signs, the brochures, all the marketing tools and systems that you're going to need. Real Trends called us the Amazon of real estate. The EXP Realty, we're growing, and we're growing very, very fast. Seeking Alpha, EXP World Holdings, attempting to disrupt the real estate brokerage status quo, like Netflix and Amazon. We're a disruptor in the real estate world. No desk fees, royalty fees, or franchise fees. So when you're first getting started, you are in a mentoring program for your first 3 transactions. But then after that, the baseline commission split at EXP is 80% to the agent and 20% to the company. However, you'll see there's a $16,000 cap. Now, using that example of the $800,000 sale at a 2.5% side, which was $20,000 in gross commission, if you had done that and EXP had received 20% of the $20,000 in gross commission, that would be $4,000. After 4 transactions like that, you would have contributed $16,000, which is the cap amount to EXP, and every other transaction you have that year, you get 100%. 100%. So it's not a linear thing. The most you would ever pay is $16,000 in 1 year. However, remember, half of that $16,000, $8,000 out of that is given back to associates through revenue sharing. We're the #5 real estate company in the United States by agent count. the number 2 by sales volume in terms of increase, by number 5 in transaction size, number 7 in sales volume overall. We're a relatively big real estate company. And what that means for you is that we have the ability to have the tools and the systems that you would need in order to be successful. How do you get started? Well, in order to get a real estate license in California, and what I'm going to discuss is focused on California. If you're interested in getting a license in other states, reach out to me. We have programs in virtually every state. And the general idea is kind of the same, right? Some of the specifics are different, but the general concept is pretty much the same everywhere. So there's 3 things you have to do in order to get a real estate license. 1, you have to complete 3 college level courses in real estate. You don't have to go to college, right? You don't have to go to college. This is all included as part of our package. And number 2, you have to pass an exam given by the State Department of Real Estate. And once you've done that, number 3, you could apply to get a real estate salesperson's license. 3 college courses, pass the exam, then you can apply. So the 3 courses you need to have, one of them has to be real estate principles. One of them has to be real estate practice. And the 3rd course can come from a list of electives. Here's the list of electives. Now you'll see on this list of electives that there's economics, business law, and accounting. Now the reason I'm highlighting those is because, well, you might have taken one of those. So if you have ever in the past, from a junior college or better, taken economics, I know it says real estate, but it doesn't have to be real estate. Any economics will do. Economics, accounting, or business law, then you have the 3rd course. Sometimes people say to me, I have all 3 of them. Congratulations, but only one from this list can be used. You have to have real estate principles, you have to have real estate practice, and then 1 class from this list. If you're saying, well, I don't have any of these, what am I going to do? Included in our package is legal aspects of real estate, also known as real estate law. Now, even that, by the way, is included even if you've gotten business law, accounting, and economics. That's already hardwired into our system. And even if you've done accounting, economics, or business law, my suggestion would be take the legal aspects of real estate course already. Again, just go ahead and take it. Because on the state exam, they're not going to ask you questions about accounting, economics, or business law, but they're going to ask a lot of questions about the legal aspects of real estate or real estate law. So how would you get these college level courses? You could go to college, or some real estate offices we're doing them somewhat live in the office. The program that we use is an online program. Now, the way an online college level course works is like this. You enroll in the course, right? You get a link, you go to the website, and you log into the website and you click on the Start Course button. That's important because as soon as you click on that button, a timer starts ticking. And once 18 days has elapsed from the day you started the course, you're now eligible to take the final exam. That doesn't mean you have to take the final exam in 18 days. It just means you can't take the final exam any sooner than 18 days, right? Do you understand? That's the earliest that you could take the final exam, but you could wait months, but that's not really advised. So the final exams for the 3 college level courses are online final exams. You can take them at home and they're an open book test. Let me go over that one more time. The final exams for the 3 college level courses are online, at home, open book, cheat as much as you want to. Final exams, you can cheat as much as you want to. You get 3 hours to get 75 out of 100 questions right. Did I mention that this is an open book test? Right, the reason they make you wait 18 days to take the final exam is because you could pass right now. Right now, if we gave you the book and an internet connection and left you alone for 3 hours, you could look up 75 answers in 3 hours just from starting cold. That would make the whole thing seem like kind of a waste of time. So they make you wait 18 days before you can take the final exam. I hope you understand that this is not the hard part of getting a real estate license. Right? This is not the hard part. The hard part is you then have to go take an exam given by the California or wherever Department of Real Estate. And that test, by the way, is not going to be an online at-home test. You have to go to the physical centers where they're giving the test. In California, the places where you can actually go take the state exam are Oakland, Sacramento, Fresno, Orange County, and San Diego. That's it. It's not an open book test. You're not allowed to cheat. They're watching you. The state exam is 150 multiple multiple choice questions. You know, A, B, C, D, pick the best answer. No essays, no true false, no fill in the blanks. Out of those 150 questions, you have to get 70% of them right in order to pass, 70%. Does that sound like a high score to require 70%? Right? If you were laying on the operating table and your brain surgeon walked in, right, pulling on the gloves and says, look, I knew at this, I understand, but don't be too nervous. I passed the brain surgeon's exam. I got 70%. I nailed that test. I got 70% right. Does that sound like a good score for a brain surgeon? You understand at 70%, it means that the brain surgeon missed more than 1 out of every 4 questions they were asked about the subject of brain surgery. That doesn't sound so good. Now, my point is you don't have to be a brain surgeon to get a real estate license. You might have already known that, right? You don't have to be a brain surgeon to get a real estate license. All you have to do is get 70% of the questions right, and you're in. Having said that, every time the state gives this exam, they fail more than half the people that are in the room. Many of them, they have failed before. You can take the test an unlimited number of times. I've met too many people that have taken the test more than 10 times, right? They decided they might need a course at that point. Now, just to keep in mind, of all the people that are failing, and by the way, first-time takers fail closer to 70% of the time. All of these people that are failing the real estate exam, the nearly 70% who fail on the first try to the more than 50% who fail every time they give the test, counting everybody, all these people that are failing the real estate exam, the question is, how many of them were able to get through those 3 online open book, cheat as much as you want to college courses? How many of them do you think were able to get through that? And the answer is they all did, right? They won't even let you take this test unless you've done the 3 college courses. My point is doing the 3 college courses does not mean you're getting a real estate license. It doesn't. It simply means you've done the minimum required to go take a shot at the exam. So what I do is I teach people how to pass the real estate exam. There are 12 classes. They're live. You can start with any one, take them in any order. They're from 6:30 to 8:45 on Wednesday nights. They're webinar, they're virtual classes. They're broadcast on the internet. They're all recorded. They're in a rotating schedule. It's like a pizza, I tell people, because they're warm and cheesy, or that may not be right, but it's like a pizza in that there's no first slice. Right? A pizza doesn't have a first slice, right? I don't have a first class either. They're all independent modules. You could start with any one. You could take them in any order. Once we're through, it just keeps rotating. After 12 is 1. It just starts over and continues on and on and on. So for a investment of $398, you get the 12 live classes, the video replays, an extensive course outline, an extensive practice testing program. You get the 3 college level courses that you need to go take the state exam and a Saturday workshop before you go take the test. All that's included. How long is this going to take? Well, each of the college level courses takes 18 days, which would mean 54 days if you're doing that as fast as you possibly could. Then only once you've done all 3 college courses and have the certificates of completion can you apply to take the state exam. And that runs between right now it's between 2 and 4 months from the time people apply until they get a test date. It was 6 for a while. It's about 2 to 4 months, depending on where and when and some other things. Once you pass the exam, your license is going to be good for 4 years. Every 4 years, you have to renew it for $245. If you want to reach out to us to get more information, that's more information. The office number, email, website. I have strong Yelp reviews. This is actually from a screenshot. I stopped advertising on Yelp a year or two ago, and they filtered over 100 5-star reviews off of my page. They said it wasn't connected to me no longer advertising. They just thought they were redundant. But I had a screenshot before they did that. They're still there as filtered reviews. And this shows, pretty much a long period of time where I was getting reviews, and you can see I'm being transparent. I'm showing you the good and the bad, right? Because you can see I have received a 4-star review. Right? And I believe that that is still true, that out of all the reviews I've received, they're all 5-star reviews with 1 4-star review. I've gotten over it. I'm no longer looking for that guy. But, and believe me, if I had any bad reviews, Yelp would be, would show them to you. So what you might want to do, if you wanted to check this out a little bit further, is you go to my website, dreclass.com, and there's a button that says free guest lesson. Why don't you attend a class for free? It wouldn't hurt, not too much. And then you can see if you get an idea of what you're getting yourself into. And if you click on that button and you fill out a registration form that looks a lot like the one that when you registered here, and you hit register, then you too will be able to attend a free class. If you're saying, I don't need to attend a class, I'm ready to sign up right now, where do I do that? You go to my website, click on sign up now. There's only really one thing to click on, and you can sign up and register right there. That I know is the final slide. And are there any questions among them? Now would be a good time.